you'd better make sure you don't miss any of those QuickTime events.
So why do we hate QuickTime events?
Who says we hate QuickTime events?
Welcome into episode 17 of QuickTime Event, brought to you by Middle of Nowhere Gaming. I'm your host, Courtney Osborne, and today I am joined by Jason.
Hello.
Matt Middleton.
YOLO.
And then Matt Southwell.
What's up, everybody?
It's really nice that we're getting all these different writers and editors and stuff on all these podcasts now. So if people have been listening to our podcast for a while now, they're like, oh, we're used to Lou and Miles and Courtney on everything. And now they're like, who are all these voices?
Yeah, step aside, Lou.
Yeah. Southwell's taking your place. I'm going to address you guys by your last names just to make it less confusing for myself and everybody in here. So if you tuned in today, episode 17, we are doing a Life is Strange Spoilercast for episode 1. We all have recently played it, all played it in the last week or so, and we've all taken down notes, and we're ready to fucking talk about it. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
We're going to try to keep this to about 30 minutes-ish, just like last time on the Dying Light Spoilercast. We'll see how that goes. If you have not played Life is Strange, now is your last chance to get the hell out of here. Don't listen to this. If you don't want anything spoiled, we're going to talk about the ending. We're going to talk about the major plot points. If you have played it, then welcome in and listen to us. And if you don't care about spoilers or never plan on playing Life is Strange, then awesome also, and welcome in. So, with that said, let's do this. Where do you guys want to start?
I think a good place to start is the premise of the episode, the whole starting on the shooting in the bathroom. Max obviously is the main character who you control, and she witnesses a shooting in the bathroom. And that's kind of where it all starts. And that's the moment in time when she first realizes that she can travel in time, which is a bit weird because it's not explained by any stretch of the imagination, but I suppose it's for the benefit of the girl that got shot in the bathroom.
Yes, who we later found out was Chloe, her best friend from 5 years or however many years ago, whenever she was first in Arcadia Bay. Imagine you're Max, and that happens. Do you just lose it? Do you shit yourself? I
don't know.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I think it was a very valid point when she was back in the classroom and she was like, I need to go to the bathroom. I'm feeling sick, because I would probably puke everywhere.
Yeah, she seemed like she took it pretty well.
I have a question about this whole beginning part, though. Whenever she does rewind time there, when she's in the bathroom, that is the furthest she rewinds time in the entire episode. We can't rewind that much time ever again.
No, but that has to make sense for the story, so don't question it.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I was just thinking about it, and I was just like, I took my time in the hallway before I got to the bathroom. I looked at every poster, every locker, everybody in the hallway, and listened to Max's opinion on all of it. And so, that was like a 20-minute rewind there when I finally got to it.
Yeah, I did the same. I'm a stickler for everything. Got to check every corner, every person, every poster, and it's a long time. And I think you notice when she does reverse time a little bit more, she gives a shake of her head. Maybe it gives her a headache. I mean, I imagine it probably would.
If you rewind too far, she kind of starts the blood starts filling the screen, like she's probably gonna have an aneurysm or something. So.
Yeah. This is definitely probably something they'll touch on, I feel. Later episodes, how it's gonna be probably physically damaging to her.
Yeah. Now, before we move on past this beginning part, did you guys take the time to read everything in her diary and stuff at the beginning?
Yeah, that was super, super awesome.
Yeah, I did. I really liked how it gave context to her character. The game, you're dealing with teenagers, so it's kind of grating sometimes to hear how they speak.
Yeah.
But I think, the episode does a good job placing you in that world, so you could kind of pass that off as that's just how people this age would speak. So I think the journals get that a good context into the world, for sure.
I personally, I'm all about reading data entry things like that in video games, and I found that adding in this journal, Max's journal, into Life is Strange helps me tremendously be able to connect with her and understand the story and everything around me, because had I not read it, like that was the very first thing I did, is I read everything in that. I spent the 10, 15 minutes to do that.
Yeah, so did I.
Had I not read that, I wouldn't have known who any of the characters were. Like I wouldn't have known about that one bitch of a character. Like I wouldn't have known anything about her or their history or anything like that. Or Kate, I wouldn't have known who she was. And so like that gave me this background information into the story and characters that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And so I'm really appreciative of, Don't Nod for adding that in.
Yeah, the weird thing for me was when I first played it, I actually took a selfie before I got to read the journal notes. So I didn't actually get to read the journal notes until I went back and did the rewind. So it was actually kind of really weird for me. I got, I guess, a different perspective from you guys where I kind of had to make impressions of all the people before I actually knew who and what they were, what kind of people they were.
Yeah. I wonder. Go on. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think it's a really good tool that Don't Nod use, in the fact that it gives all the information there for the people that want it. But at the same time, if you don't want to spend 20 minutes kind of reading all the backstories, you can then just jump straight into the game. So that having that option is a really nice touch, I feel.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because it's not like you don't get all that information through Max's self-commentary, because she's talking to herself the entire game and talking about how much of a bitch people are, all the stuff. And so you would figure it out eventually. You just wouldn't know it as quickly as those who read the diary from the very beginning. Now, whenever you get to, after you save Chloe in the bathroom, whenever you talk to the principal, what did you guys do? Did you tell the principal, or did you hide the truth?
I told him the truth, and then I hid the truth from him, then I told him the truth again. So I was really wishy-washy. So
you stuck with telling him the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so did I. I hid the truth as well.
Yeah.
I didn't go back. Yeah.
So, wait. Jason, you hid the truth. Matt Middleton told him the truth. And then Southwell, what'd you do?
I told him the truth as well. I actually did what Matt did. I told him the truth, did the rewind and hid it, and then thought, actually, no, the telling the truth is better. So I did. Then told him the truth.
So then we're split down the middle, because I didn't tell him the truth. What I did was I told him the truth first and did not like the reaction I got. And whenever she made the comment about him smelling like alcohol or whatever, I was like, oh, nope, he is not trustworthy. And so I just rewound it, and I was like, I will let him not like me or suspect me of something, and I'm just going to hide the truth from him.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that that's going to come back and bite you guys in the ass for telling him the truth, because like she said that one time that, the family with all the money is kind of like, in his pockets or whatever. Like, he takes the money and doesn't give a fuck what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me it was just kind of instinct, because I feel like when I was in school, I guess I was a good kid, so I kind of wanted her to be as well.
Yeah.
To be an extension of me, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so, I mean, the game, I hid the truth, and, kind of like a game like The Walking Dead, which I guess you could compare this to.
Yeah.
It doesn't let you do that, like you can't go back and change what is said.
Yeah.
So I kind of, even though the option is there in this game, I kind of approach it the same way. Like, if I felt like this is how I should have approached the situation, I just kind of stuck with my guns on that. So I hid the truth. I know I could have gone back and see the reaction of telling him the truth, and then like Middleton said, kind of ultimately go with what you want by rewinding once again. But
yeah.
I just stuck to my guns right off the bat, and I didn't even see what the reaction would have been if I'd went the other way.
So did you start to open up more as you went on in the episode, to start rewinding a little bit more?
I didn't. I actually didn't, no.
Really?
I really just wanted to stick with my choices. I don't know, I guess be closed-minded to how something else could have played out.
Yeah.
I don't know why I approached it that way, but I guess just playing other games, I felt like that makes the choices more consequential.
Yeah, they do, technically.
By just, as far as in my own mind, for my own story, kind of, when you play these games, some people play them where they replay them over and over again to see how the situation could play out, and I don't like doing that. I rather just experience it.
Yeah.
Based on my decisions. So.
Yeah, the dialogue choices were kind of vague for me as well. I kind of didn't. There wasn't like a black or white, a right or wrong answer. So that's why I rewound and to see the other, option to see what that fleshed out to.
Yeah, and I mean, and there's definitely times when you make a choice and you don't like how your character, how Max kind of words things.
Yeah.
But that's just the case with games like this sometimes. But yeah.
Yeah, I was with Jason after my kind of first back and forth. I did the same as you. I stuck with my decisions, and the kind of time travel feature I kind of more used for when I made mistakes and I had to go back rather than kind of having to change my choices. Because like you said, it just feels that little bit more real when your choices kind of have real consequences. Because in this game, your choices you can change them on the fly, so therefore your choices kind of almost feel a little bit less kind of precious because you can just change them if you don't like the outcome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I am kind of with you guys on this same, like, because after this first one, the first major decision. There are 4 major decisions in the game, and after the first one, I didn't rewind to even see what the other one was like because I felt like my first decision was the right way to go. And it was the one that I would have done if it were me. And so I was like, there's no way I don't even want to know what would happen if I didn't do this. However, like the littler choices, there's little things. I rewound. And then, like you said, Southwell, if you made a mistake, you would rewind to do that.
Yeah.
But, so then whenever you get to Victoria later, and whenever you have to dump paint on her, did you guys decide to comfort her or did you make fun of her?
I comforted her as well.
Yeah, I comforted her. I kind of felt a bit bad doing it, but I felt like I had to really, just to fit in.
So we all comforted her.
Yeah,
Even though she's a bitch.
I really liked the response how kind of made you understand each other a little bit more.
Even though
it was nice.
Even though she texts you later, and she's like, "You're still not my friend."
Yeah, I mean, you had this nice moment with her, and then like a second later, she's bashing like the girls who were going like get her a new shirt or whatnot. So I thought it was funny, but I still thought it was a good moment between them.
See, my thoughts going into this were, whenever I dumped the paint on her and went up to her and it gave me that option, I was like, okay, so I can make fun of her and be a total bitch just like she has been, which will probably bite me in the ass. Yeah. Or I can comfort her, and there's one of 2 ways coming out of this. Either she's going to be in my pocket later, like I can use that for something, or she's going to hate me even more for comforting her. And I was like, I don't know, but I chose to take the risk and comfort her, hoping that she would eventually, be like my minion or something for something later.
I think that's something like Matt said at the beginning, kind of like you want to be the nice person at school who's a good person at school, and just it's the same in real life, isn't it? When you have a bully, the answer is not to be the bully back, it's to be the bigger person, like you said. And that's I answered all of these questions how I would do if I was Max.
Okay, so then later on, the next big decision was whether or not you should take a photo of David while he's harassing Kate, or if you should intervene and help out Kate. What did you guys do?
Oh, I intervened.
You intervened?
Yeah, I did as well.
So did I.
So we all intervened. Same decision there too. Yeah, I felt like that was the best way to do it,
Yeah.
Like taking a picture of that, what does that help? It doesn't help anything. It just makes one of your only friends, Kate, pissed off at you for not helping her out. So I was like, no, I'm totally going to help her.
Yeah.
It was one of the things to me where it felt a little weird, like why couldn't I snap a picture real quick and then go jump in?
Yeah, that's true.
I think as well, like, the security guy, his name's blanking on me right now.
David.
Obviously, Chloe's stepdad, he seems like he's very on a mission to find something. So kind of having that maybe as blackmail at later might have been useful.
Yeah.
Because, it's showing him harassing students, which obviously could, in theory, cost him his job. But
yeah, and that's a good point to bring up, because the creative developer or creative director on the game did say that your decisions, while they may have a positive impact immediately, they could have a drastically negative impact later. So that could end up coming to bite us all in the ass.
But I think Kate, I don't know. I mean, Kate obviously seems like a really nice girl as well, but then there's maybe something more meets the eye, because obviously when you find out later that, David actually has surveillance pictures of her as well. And, I don't know what you guys think. Is there maybe more to her than we think, or is she just a nice person and is Dave just a douche?
I am of the opinion that David is a child molesting douchebag who keeps an eye on all of the kids, because while we're on this topic, we might as well flesh David as a character out. Do you guys think he's the one who took Rachel?
Oh wow, I didn't even think about that.
I think that might be too obvious, I guess.
Do you remember?
He really is the worst, though. as soon as he pops up in the beginning of the game, like after that shooting situation, I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, so that's why I definitely intervene. I'm like, I'm not going to take this guy's shit.
Yeah, he is he from the very beginning was suspecting everybody. He yells at everybody. He has surveillance all over the school and his house. Yeah. And then, did you guys notice during the credits, there was that little bitty flash of those notebooks with the different students' names on it, and one of them was Rachel and one of them was Kate.
Yeah, I saw that. And I think what you bring up is a good point, but I don't know if with these sorts of games, you can always sometimes maybe try and start second guessing too much. Yeah. And I just think he's maybe, he's obviously, we find out he's ex-army. And I think he's just a frustrated guy who, he's now a security guy at a high school when he was like in the army. And he's just maybe someone that likes order and doesn't like kind of kids that maybe mess around. And that's all there is to him. I don't think, I might be wrong, but I just think he's not that deep a character. He's just kind of lusting for his past, as it were. Yeah,
I guess I really haven't considered him as being having a different motive or anything yet. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, he could be investigating the situation. He could be trying to figure out why Rachel disappeared. He could be trying to protect Kate because he thinks Kate's next or something like that. Like, who knows? Which could also explain why he has surveillance in his house, trying to protect Chloe because she was best friends with Rachel.
Yeah, and sure. And obviously we saw that, the missing poster in Victoria's room, and she kind of, tampered all over that picture of Rachel. Yeah. She seemed like she really hated her. So, there's the motive there for maybe Victoria being involved in it. And she obviously has the money.
Yeah, she was tearing down posters too.
Yeah.
Speaking of the missing posters, they are everywhere in this game.
Oh God, yeah.
Like when you walk out to school, they're like all over the ground. I'm like, what's going on?
Chloe is obsessed with putting those posters up. She will not have it. She's gonna make sure everyone knows. Yeah. Okay, so on David's topic, that last final decision you have to make is whether or not you want to stay hidden in the closet or if you want to jump out and intervene. And then if you do jump out, you can either blame Chloe or take the blame. What did you guys do in this situation?
Well, I personally couldn't hide. I went into the closet, and when I opened the door, the things fell down.
Yep.
She wouldn't go under the bed, so I'm looking all over this room. I'm like, where do I hide? So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to stand here and see what happens. So I just stood there, and then he walked in, and then that was it, I
did the same thing, and she was kind of like, oh, I'm too grown to hide under the bed. Like
seriously?
Grown man. He's not going to check under the bed, so, I would go for that. But I rewound, and I actually was able to move the lamp.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I did, and then I stayed hidden.
Oh, cool. I actually came out, and I mean, I didn't come out. I never hid, but there's a decision after that, right?
You can take the blame or not.
Yeah. So what did you guys do for that?
Well, I stayed hidden, so it sounds like you may have been the only one who was out there, unless Southwell did.
No, I was hidden, but I came out.
You guys are all hidden?
Took the blame.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I stayed hidden. I ended up knocking over the lamp and then rewound time and then moved the lamp and then went in there and stayed hidden and let her handle it.
Yeah, so I was out, and then Chloe tried to blame the whole weed thing on me.
Oh, God.
And I wasn't having it. I'm like, no, that was her weed. I just thought like that was a shitty thing for her to do, for her to say. So I just that's how I went with it.
Yeah, the first time I played through, she blamed it on me, and I actually took the blame for it because I thought I was trying to make amends with her, and that's when I didn't like the outcome, so that's when I rewound and stayed hidden.
So I'm the only one that full on took the blame then. I was the same as you, Matt. I took the blame because I felt like almost like I owed something to Chloe because you find out obviously that you left 5 years ago and you've never even contacted her, which is kind of like a bit of a dick move. So I felt like I had to make amends by taking the blame on that. But as you find out from, you might or might not know, basically David threatens to report you to the school for kind of trafficking drugs, basically. So that could come back to bite me.
None of that happened to me because I stayed hidden completely. Nobody, he didn't even know I was there. When David came in and found the weed or whatever, he was like, "Is this grass?" And she was like, "Are you high?" "No, it's not." Totally just deflected it. It was like, "No, you're going crazy." And it was really, really, really strange because after he left and we were going to sneak out, Chloe was like, thank God you stayed hidden. It would have been much worse if you came out. And I was like, okay, good. She respected my decision. And then later on, when we're on the hill or whatever with the lighthouse, she like totally flipped. And she was like, why didn't you jump out and help me? Like, I was like, what the fuck, bitch? I was like, you literally were just okay with this. And why are you upset with me now? Like, she's psycho. She is so
That's
psycho.
what weed does to you, man. It makes you schizophrenic.
Yeah, there you go.
I actually don't think she freaked out on me on the hill, so maybe I made a little different dialogue choice there than you did.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, she didn't freak out on me either.
Okay, now, do you guys think Rachel is dead?
No.
You do not. Why do you not?
I just think it would make a more interesting story if you found her, like, she's been captive by someone. I don't know, I just feel like there might be more relevance to the story there, because obviously it was, like you said, there's posters everywhere. It's very much shoved down your throat that this girl is missing. So for her to just never turn up would be a bit anticlimactic.
I am of the belief that Don't Nod has inked a deal with Marvel, and I think it's Marvel. And Rachel is going to be Storm, and she is the middle of that tornado coming towards town. And this is going to turn into an X-Men or X-Men game.
That would be an awesome ending.
No, it would come out of left field. Nobody would have any idea what's going on. No, I actually don't know. What about you, Jason? Do you think she's dead or not?
I don't know. I guess I haven't really given it much thought. I mean, obviously it could go either way. I think both ways would be interesting. But I haven't. I mean, based on absolutely nothing, I'm not really sure.
I think her disappearance has something to do with what's going on with Max. That's kind of my intuition about it, or my thoughts.
Do you think she has a power also, or do you think that maybe Max was given the power to save her, or?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe something to do with Chloe. Chloe is that common connection between both of them.
Yep.
So maybe it's her destiny. Maybe something cheesy like that to try to rescue Rachel.
Yeah, she disappears right before Max shows up, comes back, basically. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys about the voice acting. What do you guys? How do you guys feel about the voice acting in this game?
Could be better.
I think it's all right. Yeah, it definitely could be better. When the game first started, I'm like, oh, this is not good. Like her narration wasn't that great. But
yeah,
I mostly like the characters. The only one that was kind of over the top was that one chubby girl.
Oh,
sitting on the bench during that whole Paint Victoria section. But other than that, well, yeah.
I think that Max, you could tell that Max's voice actress got better as the episode went on. Mm-hmm. Like at the beginning, it was very monotone and melodramatic, and I know they were kind of going for that, but you could also tell that the experience level of the voice actress was not all there, and by the end of the episode, she was way, way better. I felt that Chloe was really good all along. Her voice actress was very, very good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think the acting is fine. But the biggest problem I think in some places was the dialogue.
Yep.
I think Matt might have touched on it a bit earlier on, but some of the lines are a bit weak. So, you can be the best voice actor in the world, but if you don't have the dialogue to utilize, then it's still going to come off as not quite right.
Yeah, I questioned the writing on some of them, whether or not they're actually relevant to the time, or whether or not the translation process, because this is not an English studio who made this,
Mm-hmm.
So this could be a translation issue, because we all pointed out, I think in one of our chats on Facebook about the social medias comment.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm going to post this picture all over social medias. We were all like, wait, what?
She did
follow that.
She did follow it up with the fantastic line of "Go fuck your selfie," though.
Yeah,
that is a great line.
I laughed out loud on that one. That was a good one.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting some David Cagey vibes from the dialogue. I love David Cage, but still, there definitely seems like there's something lost in translation there, even though they're not actually translating a different language.
It reminds me of when you're watching House of Cards and Kevin Spacey goes, "Is that a PlayStation Vita?"
Yeah, exactly. Like they're just forcing it in there.
Right.
Did you guys take all the optional photos?
I did. On the second playthrough.
Like at the end of the game, it kind of shows you all the things you missed, and I missed tons of things. But honestly, that was something I wanted to talk about. Was like there's plenty of characters that are intriguing, like Kate and Victoria and Chloe, obviously, like some of the main cast. But like going around and talking to the other students, I really had no desire to do that. Really, like I just wasn't interested in what they had to say. So I'm like, let me just get on to progressing the story or whatnot. So I guess that's why I didn't do a lot of those things.
Middleton, did you?
I missed a lot of stuff. Like I didn't there's all the choices that it shows. I didn't even know who Daniel was to let him draw my portrait. I didn't know who Mrs. Grant was for her petition.
Yeah,
I
didn't know
a bunch of that
either.
stuff. So.
I missed a lot of those too. I did take all of the optional photos. I knew about the trophies ahead of time for the optional photos, and so I had a basic guide up or whatever telling me when the photos were, and so I could keep track of that. I wanted to make sure I got all those trophies. I plan to play it again eventually, but I just wanted to get them all in the first go because I didn't want to miss any cool things. Like everything really cool happened. Like there's the time with the skateboarder who hits himself in the nuts with the skateboard and you have to take a picture of him laying on the ground in agony. Like I was like, that is perfect. I love it.
I kind of thought it would be like the Walking Dead trophies, I guess, just by completing, chapter by chapter. And so I really, screwed the pooch on this one. I'm going to go back and get some of those. So.
I was kind of actually pretty pissed off about that when I first saw the trophies, but eventually just got over it. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to do this.
It's going to be a very easy platinum vote because that's the only thing you have to do is take the photos. But like you said, they are easily missed. I think if you don't have a guide, I had to use a guide for one of them because you literally have to go the wrong way to which you're supposed to be going in order to get the photo. Yep. You would have to explore every single corner in order to kind of get them naturally, I think. So.
Yep.
But it was cool when you did take all of them. You find actually out how many of the students somehow had a connection to Rachel as well. Like I know I'm not going to go back on it, but just every student you speak to seemed to know Rachel or be friends with Rachel or know something about Rachel.
Yep.
Okay, that's awesome.
Okay, so back when you remember when you go into Chloe's room and you can interact with basically anything. You can go through her drawers, you can go through her closet and all that stuff. Did anybody else get like super sad when you were interacting with all that stuff? Because Max is just like, I remember when we did this, and I remember when we did that, and it was so fun, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's so sad to see how much Chloe has changed. And it was just like, come on, pick up the enthusiasm here. Let's stop reminiscing so sadly.
I was just kind of sitting there thinking, why is she smoking weed on her bed?
I was thinking, like, why is she rifling through all of her shit? Like,
what is
going on? Like, she's just laying right there, and you're just looking in her drawers,
she's
looking in shoe boxes. That was kind of weird.
What, didn't she only get mad at one thing? Like, there was one box.
The box that had the picture with Rachel.
Yeah.
I think she gets angry if you break a snow globe as well. I don't know if any of you guys did that.
Yeah, that was it. I broke the snow globe, and then I rewound time so that I didn't.
I just left it broken.
I guess I missed that entirely.
Did you interact with that the cheerleader's pregnancy test?
Yes. The first time I did, she got so pissed, so I rewound.
Yeah, she gets really angry about that.
I saw it in the bin and I was like, I am not touching that. That's just something. There's some things you don't touch, and that's one of them.
I see a pregnancy test and I just naturally have to pick it up. I have to know who's pregnant, who's not.
She is incredibly nosy, actually, now you say it. I never really thought about it at the time. But you're going through like everyone's dorm rooms as well and going through all the stuff.
And you can go through you can go through the laptops, you can go through all of their stuff and check everything. It's just, she's very nosy. Very nosy. Okay, so compared to games like The Walking Dead or The Wolf Among Us, how do you guys compare this game to those? Do you like that style any better, or do you like this style any better, or are there some things that you think that both games should have, or what do you guys think?
I like the connection that you have in this game. Kind of it feels believable and like time travel aside, obviously, but it does feel kind of real. It's in a setting that is, reminiscent to all of our childhoods to an extent, whereas obviously like Wolf Among Us, Walking Dead, they're at very least an exaggerated reality. So it's nice to kind of have that real setting. But that being said, I don't think this is quite as good as those particular Telltale games, mainly because of the lip syncing is one of the worst things about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I had that in my notes as well. It was really, really distracting at first, and I kind of got used to it after that, I guess. But
yeah, I kind of just stopped watching their lips.
yeah,
So that's a way to look at that.
I kind of knew that going in, so I mean, it definitely takes you out at points, but it's something I overlooked, I guess.
Yeah, you get beyond it at the end. It's kind of, you just accept it for what it is, don't you? And it's the story that kind of that keeps you in. And Max is, I think she's a really likable character, and as soon as I finished this episode, I wanted to play more and kind of find out more of her and Chloe's story.
Mm-hmm. Now, when I compare the two Telltale games to this one, the one thing I think that Telltale could learn from this and to take into theirs is to add something like a journal, like this one had, and then to add the ability to interact with just about anything in your, environment and get some sort of a comment. I really, really enjoyed that because you get to know your character better whenever they comment on things, whenever they talk about stuff. That would be really beneficial to hear Clementine, just comment on every little thing in the area. If not, it would just if anything, it would give you more things to do while playing and not only have to focus on, the emergency or the situation at hand and things like that.
Yeah, plus it kind of gives you, an idea into their thought process. Like, if you go back to the high school where you first walking down the hallway, if you look at the soda machine, she says something like, more like a sugar machine. How crazy would it be if they actually had a sugar machine, which is like something stupid that I would think. So I'd really that right there is where I was kind of like, wow, this is a really cool character that I like because she would think something stupid that I would. So.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, the only thing I would say about the ending of the episode, I think Telltale does a really good job, like leaving things on a cliffhanger. Leaving you really excited, like for the next episode. And this one, I'm interested. I felt as soon as Chloe came into the story, the game got a lot better because that relationship is just a lot more. There's just a lot more meat to it. And then of course, missing person Kate or murdered person Kate.
Rachel.
Rachel. That's just. That's just inherently something that's intriguing. So that's what will keep me back. But I just felt like the cliffhanger wasn't as strong as what Telltale usually does.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The cliffhanger wasn't all there for me. It wasn't, the story itself really hasn't pulled me in yet. The characters, a few of the characters have me in, and what's really keeping me going and wanting to play episode 2 as soon as possible is the mystery. I have to know what happened to Rachel. I have to know whether or not Chloe's dad is connected. I have to know what the storm is. Like those little those story elements are what's keeping me going. But the overall story and writing and dialogue and stuff hasn't really done it for me yet. Not like Telltale games do.
I think for me, it's kind of the atmosphere that's dragging me back in. It's kind of like this. Seems like a little secluded, hometown. Yeah. And then when you get to these segments where she's dreaming, like with the lighthouse and the storming and everything, that really, really reminds me of Alan Wake. If y'all have played Alan Wake, and I absolutely loved it. That was probably my favorite part. Just the little parts where she's walking up to the lighthouse because all those things are reminiscent to me of Alan Wake, and I really loved that game. So that's what really dragged me, and that's what makes me want to know more about it because it's all about. I think it has something to do with the lighthouse. It's all about the lighthouse, so it's kind of interesting for me as well.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that maybe the 6-week gap between all of these episodes is a bit too long? Because we're talking, in theory, 30 weeks from the first to the last episode. If every gap's going to be 6 weeks, that's like half a year.
Yeah.
I just feel I might lose in. It's got to be a really good episode every time to kind of make you still care about it in 6 weeks time.
Yeah. Sorry, go on, Jason.
I just like that they already know when they're coming. Like at the end of the game, it says episode 2 coming in March. So it's kind of nice to just have a timetable of when to expect it to return. Unlike Walking Dead, who released a trailer and then 2 days later the game's out, which is awesome. But it's good knowing. So.
Yeah, I would much rather it be something like Resident Evil Revelations 2, where we know, episode 1 is this week, 2 weeks later, episode 2, 2 weeks later, or a week later is episode 3, and then a week later is episode 4, Like, I would rather have them that close together than have them a month and a half apart. I don't know. That typically makes me not want to play one episode at a time because I'm afraid I'm going to forget everything and then I'm going to have to replay it, which is not a bad thing, but it's an annoyance sometimes having to replay episodes to remember all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm typically the guy who waits to play all the episodes after they've all released.
Me too.
That way I don't have that problem. But I really wanted to play this because it looked so interesting, so that's why I went ahead and jumped in on this. But I would prefer them to do a week-by-week release if possible. Of course, would delay it, but I think it would be probably keep me more engaged in it.
Same with me. Yep, exactly. So anything else to say about it before we wrap it up?
Yeah. Yeah. Am I the only person who thought some of the characters were a little cliche? You know, you have the kind of the nerds and then the jocks and everything. It was just kind of a little cliched. I felt like, a lot of the characters were really, really cliche.
It's high school. Come on.
Yeah, I didn't mind the cliches, but I thought some of like the references and stuff were a little much. Like finding posters or whatnot. I know when Chloe first drives up to kind of save you from Nathan in the parking lot, and the license plate says Twin Peaks on it. Like, I just thought that was a little much.
Yeah,
I totally missed that.
Yeah, there's like some of the stuff is cool, obviously, especially if it kind of connects to you when you were that age and things that you were possibly into. But some of it I thought was just a little too much, I guess, at points.
Yeah.
But that's being very nitpicky. So.
Well, you got to be nitpicky. That's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the only thing I would like to very quickly add that we haven't touched on is how good the soundtrack was.
Oh, really good.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple of songs. The intro song when you're walking down the hallway, and then also the one when you're in Chloe's house. Those two songs in particular, I thought were fantastic, and they just fit the tone of the game perfectly.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about that. I would like to maybe get the soundtrack.
Yeah, the song in Chloe's house was Angus and Julia Stone. I love that song, so as soon as I heard it, I was pretty excited. Like when I went downstairs, I'm like, I really hope this song doesn't stop playing when I go downstairs to look for the tools or whatnot. So
I was really happy when the loading screen came up and it just kind of seamlessly transitioned with the music still there. I was like, yes.
And about the game, it runs. I mean, minus the bad lip syncing, I think it runs better than the Telltale games.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. It was very, very smooth. I didn't have any issues other than the lip sync. Now, whether or not that remains to be a Telltale issue, because I'm about to record a Game of Thrones spoilercast after this, and I didn't have one issue with episode 1 or 2 of Game of Thrones.
I mean, I'm hearing the PS4 that they run better. I have Wolf Among Us, which I didn't finish, coming in the mail, so I've heard it runs better on PS4. So I'm interested to see if that's true or not.
Yeah,
it runs great. They fixed most of their stuff on the next gen or the current gen now consoles.
Awesome.
So, all right, let's wrap this up. And if you haven't played and you listen to this, thank you for sticking in, and sorry for spoiling everything for you. Hopefully all of us will be able to record a Spoilercast for episode 2 whenever it comes out next month sometime.
For sure.
That would be nice to keep the same cast for every episode. We'll see how that goes. Thank you guys for joining me. This was really fun.
Thanks for having us, Courtney.
Yeah, thanks for having me as well.
You could contact us by emailing contact.mong@gmail.com if you have any ideas for any future QuickTime event episodes, or if you have any questions for the Mong podcast. You can find us on Twitter by searching for @mong.com, all spelled out, .com. And you can find our YouTube at youtube.com/Mong Network. And if you're still listening, which likely isn't the case, you could also find our new YouTube. I'm not sure with the URL. We can't set a new URL for it yet, but you can go to our channels page on Mong Network, and there's a new one called Mong Plays, where we will be putting up Let's Play videos, which hopefully we'll start recording those sometime today or later this weekend. And then you could find us on Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram by searching for Middle of Nowhere Gaming. And then the website is middleofnowheregaming.com, where you can find all of our latest editorials, news, reviews, previews, features, podcasts, all the good stuff. And then you could find us all on Twitter. You could find me at Osborne_2009. You could find Jason at
Of Mixed Descent.
You could find Matt Middleton at
Pro_Creston8 with the number 8 or.
And you can find Matt Southwell at
GSY_Gooner. It's GOONER.
Nice.
Nice
right.
and easy.
Have a good rest of the Saturday, guys, and Mong.
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 Myong.